this is the person we elected as a president of the United States? This petty, this small, the person who's supposed to pull the country together?
You're damn right.
This is CNN, home of fake news.
It's a scam. It's a whole hoax. That defeated ISIS.
We all know he does it.
He's the Babe Ruth of lies.
What should we believe? Who can we trust? Tonight, a CNN special report. All the president's lies.
The theme here is, I'm Donald Trump, and I'll protect you from the scary black people. Antifa is widely perceived as an African-American organization, and this is just part of the same story of LeBron James and Don Lemon and Maxine Waters and the NFL players and the UCLA basketball players. This is about black versus white.
Antifa!
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's, no organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Antifa?
And CNN's just atrocious. They're not even journalists anymore. I don't even want to call them the National Enquirer because I don't want to insult the National Enquirer. CNN has become nothing but piss-poor tabloid journalism. That's it.
CNN's doubling down on a fake news story they published back in July, claiming that Trump okayed a secret meeting at Trump Tower between his campaign and the Russians back in 2016. Not only that, the network is refusing to admit that they outright lied to the American people about who their source was, even after getting caught. So what are they doing instead? Why, blaming Donald Trump, of course.
I mean, in your opinion, is there any other way to interpret this comment other than being just racist?
Of course, there's no other way to interpret it. This is not an isolated comment. The first thing he did when he started running was call Mexicans rapists.
They're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people.
Call Mexicans rapists.
80% of Central American women and girls are raped crossing into the United States. I had no idea it was this bad. It's horrible.
We just keep hearing these terms, racist. What's a racist thing he said?
That he insinuating that Mexico is sending their rapists?
They are. 80% of the young girls who cross the border get raped. I thought you feminists hate rape.
I do.
So do you think 80% is a pretty bad stat for women getting raped? 80% of the women crossing the border get raped.
By Americans?
No, by illegals.
Okay. Thanks.
Los agarraron entre todos, los violaron, se puede decir, porque pues no era por nuestro gusto.
Don't thank me, I didn't rape anybody.
I didn't say you did, but you're coming and you're spinning everything that...
I'm just trying to tell you basic information.
80%...
80% of young women who cross the border get raped.
By illegals?
Yes, by coyotes and illegals. Why wouldn't you have looked...
Coyotes, goodbye.
The truth could not be any more clear at this point. CNN hates Trump so much they're willing to publish fake news and knowingly lie to the American people about their source, then double down on those lies even when it makes them look like total idiots. That's how much they despise him, and that's how little they think of you at home.
And he's also stood by an earlier proposal to ban Muslims from entering the United States. But now he says the U.S. should actually consider racially profiling Muslims. Take a listen to what he told CBS News just a few hours ago.
I think profiling is something that we're going to have to start thinking about as a country, and other countries do it. And you look at Israel and you look at others, and they do it, and they do it successfully. And, I hate the concept of profiling. But we have to start using common sense, and we have to use our heads. We really have to look at profiling. We have to look at it seriously. And other countries do it, and it's not the worst thing to do.
Breaking news tonight, Donald Trump defending a call for racial profiling. He says it will keep the country safe from terror attack. Donald Trump says the country is too politically correct. Police are too afraid. These terror attacks could be stopped if they just had the courage to racially profile. Donald Trump is making the case that Israel does it. You heard him say it. Let me just give him a chance. What he said earlier when he expounded upon why the United States should do what Israel does. They do racially profile. Here he is.
Perhaps we should do what Israel does, and they profile. See if you can hear him say racial profiling, because somebody at CNN heard that, even though it doesn't exist.
You know, in Israel, they profile. They've done an unbelievable job, as good as you can do.
Okay, so they heard that, and they put this up. Trump defends racial profiling in wake of bombs. There's another full-screen shot that says Trump says racial profiling will stop terror.
Every move they make, almost every move they make when it comes to editing sound bites or chyroning, that's the title at the bottom of the screen, is going to be geared toward assisting Mrs. Clinton. And nothing could have been more obvious yesterday than that effort to add a racial element. They're adding the racial element where Trump never brought it up. So CNN it's like a combination of Media Matters, MoveOn.org, and a Hillary super PAC all rolled into one.
The GOP nominee suggesting the U.S. should instate racial profiling.
It's hard to not notice, Jeff, that Donald Trump again brought up the idea of profiling immigrants. I mean, yesterday he was upset that news people used the term racial profiling, but he was on the O'Reilly Factor last night, and Donald Trump clearly meant racial profiling when he said profiling.
Well, first of all, I never said the term Muslim. You did. You told me Muslims. I didn't say that. I'm saying you're going to profile people that maybe look suspicious. I didn't say they were Muslims.
But how could they look suspicious?
I said,
I mean, how?
I don't know. These are experts. That's what they do. They profile. You go to Israel and they should study, because Israel's done a phenomenal job at this, and they profile.
Just last night, CNN added in the word racial that he never mentioned with profiling. Your network added in racial to make it look like he had said racial profiling where he never had.
So, Kellyanne, I want to interrupt you there.
I want to
interrupt you there because that was a lower third, as we call them, on our screen. It actually happened during this hour. And I want to make it clear the word racial should not have been put in quotes.
Thank you.
He has gone on to equate white supremacists in Charlottesville to the people protesting against them.
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
He has called black athletes sons of bitches.
That's a lie.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Look, this isn't about the president being against anyone, but this is about the president and millions of Americans being for something, being for honoring our flag, honoring our national anthem, and honoring the men and women who fought to defend it.
When you go down and take a knee or any other way, you're sitting, essentially, for our great national anthem. You're disrespecting our flag, and you're disrespecting our country. And the NFL should have suspended some of these players for one game, not fire them, suspended them for one game. And then if they did it again, it could have been 2 games and 3 games, and then for the season. You wouldn't have people disrespecting our country right now.
He always says, make America great again. Well, America's never been great for people of color. And, that's something that needs to be addressed. Let's make America great for the first time.
Last year at this time, he was feuding with civil rights icon John Lewis.
On Sunday, Trump tweeted, "The fake news hates me, saying that they're the enemy of the people only because they know it's true. I am providing a great service by explaining this to the American people. They purposely cause great division and distrust. They can also cause war. They are very dangerous and sick."
If your word means nothing, what happens then?
The Alabama saga began September 1st, when the president tweeted that, along with other states, Hurricane Dorian was headed there.
Alabama's going to get a piece of it, it looks like.
Alabama residents, panicked by Trump's tweet, inundated the Birmingham National Weather Service.
They just said, well, we're going to put out a quick statement.
to warn people that this rumor is not true, not realizing that the President of the United States has caused a rumor in the first place.
He's throwing up all this misinformation, trying to confuse people. I think the challenge for our viewers is refuse to be confused. Don't get exhausted by all this BS that he's putting out there. This is very simple. He was wrong then, he's wrong now. He's trying to confuse everybody now and make you believe there is no such thing as truth.
But now video is surfacing of a CNN weather forecaster proving the president to be right. Hurricane Dorian was originally forecasted to have an impact on Alabama.
But there are many states that are under threat right now, Derek.
At least 6, from the Carolinas right through Georgia coastline into Florida, certainly, and then also even into the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi.
Here's the deal. Nothing the president tweeted is true. Not one thing. I'll take it a piece at a time. The fake news hates me saying that they are the enemy of the people only because they know it's true. No. Journalists doing their job aren't fake news, and almost no one, not the anchors on your favorite network, Mr. President, not even your daughter Ivanka, agrees with you that we are the enemy of the people.
Since the moment Donald Trump became the president-elect, the majority of CNN's coverage has been so overwhelmingly negative and in some cases just downright nasty.
When you report fake news, which CNN does a lot, you are the enemy of the people.
He is the enemy of the people. Not only that, but the enemy of the truth. He's very disrespectful.
CNN Clinton News Network, because they were in the bag for her.
We don't hate it because it's true. We hate it because it's demonstrably false. It's self-serving and it's gross. Next, I am providing a great service by explaining this to the American people. No, that is fake news. All you're doing is turning citizens against the very people who aim to arm them with facts. And
enough is enough. The lies, the deceit, the fear-mongering.
Finally, they purposely cause great division and distrust. They can also cause war. They are very dangerous and sick. All due respect, Mr. President, you've never seen war. Many of the journalists you besmirch, unlike you, have put their lives at risk to cover important stories of war, genocide, human trafficking, political revolution, disease, natural disasters. Journalists don't cause division and distrust. You do.
I'd rather run against, I think, Biden than anybody. I think he's the weakest mentally. And I like running against people that are weak mentally. I think Joe is the weakest up here.
Trump referring to Biden's last showing in the Iowa caucuses. But Biden is doing well right now. You see on the screen in a new poll today, Biden topping Trump by 13 points, 53-40.
Here's Anderson, here's how it gets so hard for Donald Trump. Let's say he has that momentum. He still has to be almost more than perfect, if you will, in the final days. He has to win where he is tonight, North Carolina. Can't get him to 270 without it. He has to hold Ohio. That's a tie right now, maybe a slight edge for Trump. He has to hold that. Even if he does that, wins Nevada, not easy. Wins Florida, not easy. Wins North Carolina, not easy. Wins Ohio, not easy. Even Republicans think in these close races, Clinton will win in the end because of the edge in her ground game. But let's give them to Trump in this math. Hillary Clinton leads in Arizona. Trump must get that back. He's still behind. So even if Trump is perfect, even if Republicans come home, even if he wins the close races, he still has a ways to go.
And perhaps that's the reason the president is so fired up about Biden.